Industry Watch. My name is Bola Oba. We are starting a series that focuses on engaging the average middle class potential home builder or house builder in understanding the rudiments of what it entails to put up a structure that he or she could call home. A series that identifies the common errors that artisans make in the course of their jobs. A series that provides workable solutions not only to members of the artisan class, but indeed to an average upper middle class potential builder of homes who may need not to be destructively engaging, but productively and suggestively engaging with an artisan or a group of professionals working to help him or her translate a vision of a home or a house to reality.
Welcome once again to ULDA's Industry Watch. Last episode, we dwelled on the roles of the plumber. Common mistakes plumbers make on construction and what you should look out for in selecting your plumbing subcontractor. Today, we will be dwelling on the electrical subcontractor, the electrician. What are the roles of the electrician in construction? We'll look into common mistakes also of the electrician in construction. And thereafter, dwell on what you should look out for, pointers that will aid you in selecting that electrician for your dream home. The electrician is saddled with the responsibility of powering up the systems and appliances of a home. He or she taps from the mains that comes from the national grid into such a construction, feeds it in to the building, runs pipes through the walls, if it is a conduit construction, terminating at stipulated areas in accordance to the design of the electrical engineer, runs cables through those pipings, keeping in mind the ratings as described by the electrical engineer, fuses and helping into safeguarding the circuit system within the building by putting fuses and breakers. He or she troubleshoots ready built up systems in the home in case there is need for maintenance, and the electrician also checks about grounding the system of the entire circuits the construction site. That is what the electrician had been dealing with over the years. But nowadays, the electrician is saddled with more responsibilities. The electrician of today run an alternate power system into homes such that appliances within the home does not only rely on power supply from the main electrical grid. Alternate power supplies from the inverters, be they supplied from batteries that have stored energy from the main grid, or stored energy from the solar or the wind panels. The electrician runs an alternate system into a set panel where the inverters are connected onto to power the runnings of some appliances in the home to these alternate power supplies. The electrician of today also deals in running the multimedia system in homes and also the communication line systems in homes. You'll agree with me that from the old days where the electricians have been employed solely for electrical systems, things have changed, and the scope of the subcontracting electrician is broader. The electrician needs to isolate different systems based on the usage of those outlets and plug them into breakers that have equal ratings with those appliances. The electrician should also ensure that the materials supplied him by the suppliers or the homeowner is of good quality. The problem in Nigeria today pertaining to our electricals are the issues of having substandard materials filtering the system of supply. These materials cause lots of havoc, and if not properly safeguarded, could result in fire hazards in homes. A lot of fire outbreaks out there from homes are as a result of electrical appliances used that are substandard in manufacturing or substandard in the ratings of usage in homes. It is important to appoint consultants, professionals onto your projects early enough before they start, amongst which is the electrical engineer. It is worthy of note that it isn't expensive to engage professionals onto your project, as they don't need to attend to your site every other day. Your project manager or site supervisor would have apportioned and scheduled times for their attendance and visitation to site. First of which is during the setting out of the entire building. For those of us who don't understand what setting out is, setting out is the process where the drawing is being put onto the land, mapped out physically. During that process, the architect, structural engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, and the quantity surveyor are present on site, at which period is their very first visitation to that site. The electrical engineer, of course, would have critiqued the architectural drawings produced by the architect upon collecting briefs from the client, checking out the spaces therein on the architectural drawings and designing circuits and electrical systems for such spaces in accordance with the appliances that would be used in those spaces. The electrical engineer would design, instruct the capacity of wires, draw the line of pipings, suggest the numbers of sockets for each space on the architectural drawing, be it the lounge, bedroom, study, dining, laundry, and most importantly, the kitchen. All these areas would have been designed for by the electrical engineer, who would also describe in his designs and detailed drawings the ratings of circuit breakers to be used in those systems. The ring systems for powering sockets would have been designed for by the electrical engineer, noting the usage of such spaces. The relationship between the electrical engineer and the electrical subcontractor, which is a team of electricians, is that the electricians translate the design and drawings of the electrical engineer into reality, such that at any point in time, any other electrician or electrical engineer can, through those designs and drawings, go seamlessly through the lines of such built-up homes and maintain, trace, troubleshoot the system seamlessly. The electrical engineer, upon his first visitation to site, during the setting out process, would come visiting the site at periods as assigned by the project manager or site supervisor to come and check the workings of the electricians, After the very first visit, the second visit will be to check the piping system as laid by the electrical subcontractor, which is the electricians. The third visit is to check the cabling run into the piping systems. The fourth visit is to check the fittings and fixtures that are fixed within the system of the home. The fifth visit, the electrical engineer is to come and test the system, powering up the building and checking all through each system circuit as developed by the electrician. Note, an approval is given for each check that the electrical engineer comes to visit in accordance to the provisions of the site supervisor or project manager. The electricians are saddled with the responsibility of laying pipes for the electrical system as described in the drawings, terminating such at the distribution panel ends, running cables in those lines, linking the entire building system to the main national grid supply by the power authority of that environment. The electrician would have run all supplies ready, would also ensure that protection in form of grounding is adequate enough for the system. The electrician should also ensure that lighting protection is also made available in such a system, of course in accordance with the electrical engineer's design. Today, the electrician is also saddled with more responsibilities, as they don't just run electrical powering from the mains as in the days of old. Today, alternate supply of power are being used in form of inverters, which have battery storage devices that can power systems in their homes. The electrician is saddled with the responsibility of creating these alternate power systems ready, run in the home to power such lines. The electrician, who is the electrical subcontractor of that project, is also now saddled with the responsibility of running the communication system, the multimedia system of such homes. The electrician, having made all these wiring connections within the house, is also saddled with the responsibility of putting in the fittings and fixtures of that domestic home. The dwelling, of course, is expected to have sockets, switches, lightings, and other ornaments that are linked to the electrical system of the home. The electrician is responsible for making all these connections and in turn lighting up the home and beautifying the edifice of that residence. Now, we will be dwelling on common mistakes that our electrical subcontractors make during construction. The first mistake is overloading. Most electricians tend to overload this system by not obeying the design of most electrical engineers. Who is the consultant on the project? Many a time you will find electricians ringing the socket line system more than expected as designed in the drawings, whereby outlets will be too many in one circuit. By doing so, the system would have too many appliances plugged onto one circuit and causing overload in such circuit line. This will result into an overheat of the cables in that circuit line. You would notice that when using some outlets in your buildings, you will find some socket outlets burning up. If you get close to those outlets, you will hear some hissing, humming sounds coming out from those outlets. Upon removing the plugs from those outlets, you might have some burnt parts on the plugs and on the socket outlets. This is as a result of overloading of that circuit system. This mistake is not only caused by the electrician. The homeowner has his or her own mistakes at this as well. The electrician might have provided circuits, outlets within the circuits as needed from the design. But because most homeowners want to power more gadgets, they buy extension plugs, multi-plugs, and plug more appliances onto these systems, hereby overloading such outlets. This is a very, very wrong and risky thing to do, as overloading such outlets would cause overheat. Overheat would cause melting. Melted plastic and heat would cause fire. And this is part of the reasons why we have electrical fire outbreaks in systems. If you find any hissing sound, any smelly, burnt smell across any of your appliance or outlets, please disengage the use of such outlets and immediately call on your electrician to come and check out such outlets. The electrician would of course first check on the plugs of your appliance and the sockets of the outlet. Then checking the cable inside supplying such an outlet. If the cable is not burnt out, the cheating is still in good condition, your electrician is expected to change the socket outlet and your plug into a higher rating. But if the cable system is burnt, the electrician should ensure that he or she changes the cable within that system with a higher rating, such that would take better current through that cable system.
I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the series. Look forward to another episode next week. Thank you.